So, Mary,
Okay,
start.
great. Yes, now we can start. So welcome everybody to our talk. It's about best of both worlds, Apache Pulsar and Apache Kafka. So I'm Mary Grygleski, and with me is Turk. Yeah, so we're from different places too, by the way, and you may be aware. So I'm from Chicago, and Ko is from Amsterdam? No, exactly.
Almost now. I'm in middle in Utrecht somewhere, so in middle of the Netherlands I'm living, and
Right.
we are talking together about Pulsar,
Right, Pulsar
and Kafka,
and Kafka.
and how we combine those two. So,
Yes.
let's continue first.
That's right. Yes.
So-
So before we begin, if you'd like to get a copy of this slide deck, it's here too. We have the QR code, and because sometimes I know audience members like yourselves might want to also take a look at our slide deck at the same time. So this is how you can access it. Okay. Yeah. Can you get it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you get it? Yeah.
You get it?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
So, hi, welcome everybody. Nice that you are here. Thank you, for that we are here. That it's
That's right.
possible. That's really nice. My name is Turk. I'm going all in the code, so I'm a developer. I try to explore some developer things. I'm from Adesso, the community lead, and I love to write magazines and I'm speaking at conferences like Fox. And yesterday was JavaLand, so it was really nice to be again in Romania. So, hey,
That's right.
who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I'm Mary Grygleski. I actually spoke at some conferences before in Romania too. Maybe some of you may be aware of, but that was before the COVID or during COVID time. So everything then was virtual. So I'm very happy to be here, and I'm a developer advocate currently at DataStax. I was at IBM as a Java developer advocate before, so you may know me also from then. Primarily, too, now I'm working on Apache Pulsar, like advocating for that. And I'm also a Java champion, also a president of the Chicago Java Users Group. And at IBM, I worked on libraries such as Open Liberty. It's all open source, essentially, that I've been working with. So this is how you can get a hold of me and all these things. So yeah, so it's very happy to be here, like with Ko. Yeah.
This is the first time that we are doing this joint talk, so you got it here. So that's,
you are testing it for us.
You're the pilot, so I hope it's good.
Yeah,
it will be,
all
right? So.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So, what's in it for me? That's the most important question for you, right? What's in it for me? What am I going to learn? We are going to choose which streaming frameworks suits your case. Like we have Kafka over there, or no, Kafka over here, sorry, and also over there.
Right.
And we are going to create an application. We're going to discuss the architecture of both, and how to stream like a pro.
That's
and
right.
that's not like YouTube.
YouTube, yes, exactly.
We are going into functions and streams. So they are different. Like we have
That's
functions and we have streams here. So let's
That's
go
right.
advance, Mary.
Yeah, sounds good. Yes, very good. Yes, yeah. So, okay. So this is our agenda. We'll start and talk about welcome into a streaming world, some introductions, and then the streaming architectures, and also why you consider both architectures. And then we'll get into the demo that Ko was talking about. So that's pretty much, our agenda for today. But you're welcome to also ask questions. We want this to be more interactive, to be useful for you too if you have questions. But actually, before I start, can I ask you how many of you, first, right, let's get into Pulsar, have heard of Pulsar, Apache Pulsar. Okay, how many of you actually are already working with Apache Pulsar? Oh, actually, we have two.
Wow.
Great, awesome. And then, but I think for Kafka, how many of you are already working? Yeah, I kind of expecting a lot of folks are. So let's kind of explore both worlds, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
just thinking, like, what are you using? Your own platform for Pulsar or another cloud vendor? Okay.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Okay,
yeah.
that's cool.
That's good. So, welcome into a streaming world, and let's discuss, like, hey, which is best, Mary?
That's
Is
right.
is Kafka better or is it Pulsar? What do you think?
Yeah, what do I think? How about let's ask ChatGPT?
That's a good idea. So let's try to join
just try
both
to-
worlds like this, like
Yeah.
we're walking together.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so, if it's not overloaded, of course. It's there. Perfect. So Which is better, Apache Pulsar or Apache Kafka? Oh, it's generating. So,
Oh, ready.
oh, look,
Wow.
it's already doing some things
Yes.
like excellent distributed messaging systems, Mary.
That's right.
Wow.
Yes, yes, both are. Yeah. Wow, very chatty too.
Yeah.
Wow, ChatGPT is working hard today.
Well, it's yeah. We can also, there's also a tool, like you have Google Slides, that you can put an abstract in, and then the slides are auto-generated.
Yeah.
We can
that's-
also do it now.
Yeah, that will be done.
Maybe next
No.
time, that's a good idea.
That's
But
right.
yeah, make it like, this is a whole text. Can you make it maybe just like one sentence of it
One
or something?
sentence. That's kind of hard, but I think the answers will depend,
Yeah,
which is
sure.
better,
You're
right?
going to
Yeah,
ask it.
yeah.
Wait.
I think it all depends. I think that's what it's saying too, isn't it?
Which is
Yeah, which is
better, Apache Pulsar or Apache Kafka?
Kafka.
In one sentence.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's wait. What should it ask? This is really exciting.
Yeah.
Like, what is it doing? It's thinking.
Ah,
It doesn't know her. I don't
yeah.
know.
Wow, it is.
Oh, yeah. There's no definite answer to whether it's Apache Pulsar or
Pulsar.
Apache Kafka.
Yep, it depends.
It's really smart. It depends.
Yeah.
So it's almost human, Mary. So yeah, this is
That's
one
right.
sentence. So here you are. It depends.
Yeah, it depends on your specific use cases scenario. So that's
So
what
let's
it is.
discover it together
yeah,
then.
Yeah, let's get
You
more
want to
into
click
it.
or-
Yeah.
No?
Did you say you were going to talk about this part or me?
Oh yeah,
Oh
this
yeah,
is me.
let's
it's
you
me.
talk about
Yeah,
first.
yeah. So
Okay.
who know what this is? This is? Nice, correct. This is in Paris. So you have something really modern. So this is, you can see like Apache Pulsar. It's really modern. And Kafka is more like the establishment, and it's already there. It's really big. Everyone is using it. Big community. So it's already there. But this is really new. People don't know it yet, or never been there, or yeah.
That's right.
So that's also with Kafka and Pulsar, I guess. So yeah, let's discover like Pulsar is invented in. Do you know that? By Yahoo, right?
But yeah, that's right. It's actually Yahoo invented that. It was back in 2013 or so. The reason they did it is because at the time there was no true like cloud native event streaming platform. So they found Kafka to be limited in that sense. So they started developing it. And in 2018, 2016 actually they released it, and then 2018, or actually no. 2016, they donated it to Apache Software Foundation. They released it back in 2013. So 2018 became like a top tier project pretty fast. And today too, it's actually growing in popularity. And in 2021, became like one of the top 5 projects at Apache Software Foundation, because folks are recognizing its kind of true cloud native support too. So that's what it is. So yeah, and to summarize it. So.
And Kafka is founded by in 2011, I think, by some engineers of LinkedIn
That's
in
right.
2011. So that's it's some older, but it's still
older.
pretty new, kind of.
Yeah, that's right. But I think the adoption is pretty wide right now for Kafka. So
everybody knows Kafka, I think. But Pulsar is pretty new and it's also quite interesting for its use cases.
That's right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so here. So
who's
which
this,
one?
Mary?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
do
right,
you want to
who's
talk about it?
Yeah. So now, which one do we choose, Kafka or Pulsar? So we're gonna. We just thought we'd point out, right?
This is just a novelist in.
in
it was
Czech Republic. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, something like that.
usually
So,
something,
which
so
one to choose?
choose.
We try to get the best of both worlds. So I try to work into the middle, like we are going to use it both, Mary. Yeah.
That's right. Yes, we can in fact do
So
that.
tell me about Pulsar.
Okay, so let's kind of begin by talking a bit about Apache Pulsar, since it's, I think, newer to most of you folks. And so, again, it's open source project, came out of Yahoo, and got donated to ASF, Apache Software Foundation. So if you are interested, this is the GitHub repository. It's open source projects. Anybody can join, if you like, can become contributors too. So the key points I point out basically the cloud native aspect is what is being attractive, for this event streaming platform. And as you know, and Cole will be talking more about Kafka. Kafka is also very efficient. It's more distributed messaging. But the thing is, too, Kafka was designed at the time when it was more about dealing with distributed messaging. So they did not pay as much attention to the environment, to the platform that it needs to support cloud native. As we know, right, when we talk about cloud native is you want to make sure your system is very scalable and very resilient too, which is different than if you do things on-prem, kind of what it used to be, as we all know. And I'm assuming most of you are starting to work with the cloud and our deployment, all of these things. And as you know, you want to make sure it's efficient because you are being charged, if it's public cloud, every minute of usage, right? So you want to design a system that's very lean, very efficient, everything. So Pulsar has that already built in. So there are many things too. For example, like the storage part, it separates out the compute and the storage. As you know, in distributed logging system like Kafka and Pulsar, you are managing not just the messages. The messages comes in, you need to deal with delivery. What do you do if there are retries that you need to worry about? Deduplication, things like that, right? All these is basically handled by the broker. So, but what about the storage, right? You have tons of messages. You want to be able to do lookups later, doing all of these things. So Pulsar actually decides not to deal with the messages directly. Like Kafka doesn't have a separate kind of a tooling or library to handle. But whereas for Pulsar, it uses Apache Bookkeeper, another project of Apache from Apache. And it's very efficient, fast read and fast write, all of these things. So it's a separate project itself. So Pulsar makes use of Apache Bookkeeper. And essentially, the performance, too, is kind of very fast, too, in that case. So it frees up so your broker can then handle message delivery, all of these other things. So that's the idea. Not only that, too, in a cloud-native environment, if you're growing your cluster, you're adding more nodes to it, more servers, then all of your topics that are already on kind of partition off, right? You need to have to rebalance it too. If you add in another node, a set of servers. So Pulsar already knows it. It already is built in, it recognizes it. So it spread out all of your brokers, all of these things. So then as developers, you don't need to worry about more of the infrastructural side of things. So that's kind of one really big, strong point of it too. So as you can see in here is horizontal scalability, object storage, offloading, and there's this another feature called tiered message offset. So if the messages becomes code, it will automatically move it off to, for example, HDFS, moving it off to S3 buckets. Those are less expensive to store, that type of stuff. So Pulsar already has it built in to kind of take care of things like this for you. And also like consolidation, message replay, all of these things, you can make use of like a reader interface to kind of look through your old logs and kind of search for them. So in other words, all of these messages are not lost. It's a pub/sub type of broker system, right? So all of them is there. You just use your reader interface to navigate through and look through your log messages. Yep. What else? Geo-replication is another feature of Pulsar that it supports. It's basically you can have data centers all over the world, and it would do all of the replication for you between different data centers. And you can do message selection, so not everything get replicated everywhere. It allows you to configure it, so only certain messages get repeated in all the data centers, right? So for example, like GDPR is a policy or kind of data security in Europe, and you don't want data center to replicate those sensitive data across regions to Asia to US. So those things you can configure. So that's kind of giving you an idea of this geo-replication feature. And then it's basically future readiness is really a cloud native, truly cloud native ready platform. So yeah, so that's kind of summarizing it.
Cool,
now
cool.
Let's talk about Kafka.
Kafka, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, a lot of you already know Kafka, of course. I think it's really a big community here. You have a lot of examples of Kafka. And yeah, there's like, you can teach it everywhere. There's a developer website. You can see all kind of things. And it's well tested. So yeah, if you use it, mostly people already or have the same problems or fix them, or like, there's always a solution somehow. And it's an Apache project already, so it's really, really mature. This QR code is just a quick start of the server. So if you want to run your own server, which I did. It's very difficult. So I'm a developer, so I want to develop stuff. So the coding, we will also show you in some minutes, I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
Let's see. So yeah, it's simple, it's mature, what it said. The performance is also very good. Yeah, Pulsar is quicker. No, Kafka is quicker. Yeah, there are benchmarks. Like people are saying, yeah, Kafka is better than Pulsar. It's like, yeah, tomato. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, there's something in the middle. So, yeah, again, also replayability, and yeah, it continues if something fails.
Sure.
But how does it work, Pulsar, Mary? Show me the camera.
Yeah, how does it work? Okay, well, we will be showing some example, but for now, let's take a look at architecture, right? The picture of Pulsar, how does it work? But as we know too, when we work with it, and there's a serverless broker, right? This pops up architectural pattern, as you know, same as Kafka. That's the broker deliver all the messages, receive them from producers. So basically, when we write code, we're dealing with writing producer's code or consumer code, depending on your cases, right? And also, too, for Pulsar, it's very flexible. The client language bindings are very flexible. You can have, working with Java, that's, already over here, right? Java, C++. These are just small handful of example. You can have Go, too, and there are also community contribution, like Scala clients it supports, too, Rust, for example, too. And as such, open source projects, you can also contribute to it, too. If you don't see anything you want it, you can also propose, and kind of to the committee, you can kind of become a spec if it gets approved, right? So that's that, the client side. And then, of course, too, I talk about the off-tier storage. So it can go into S3 buckets, or GCS, or here not listed is HDFS, the Hadoop file system, all these other offline storage too. And then if you kind of look into the core of it, right, this is the brokers, again, it's stateless JVM running, right, serverless broker over here, and it communicates. Also Zookeeper. Zookeeper is there to help with managing your metadata and also like configuration, things like that. And also then Bookies, I talk about Bookkeeper. So Bookkeeper is the one that's important in the sense that it manages all of these log messages. And the way Bookies work is that it segments off all of these log messages too. So it has its own complexity, but I won't get into all the details. But as you can see in here, that's what brokers is communicating with the bookies, with all of the log messages. And in the meantime too, during your processing all of your messages, then there's also a feature called Pulsar functions. They are functions workers. They are very efficient. It's kind of in the spirit of like AWS Lambdas, like Google functions. They are meant to be very serverless in nature. You write small bite-sized piece of code, you deploy it, then you let the infrastructure take care of, shrinking however you want it. It takes care of things in the cloud environment for you. And then there's also a Pulsar I/O connectors. Basically, it allows you to build, well, let's put it that way. So let's say we have Kafka, and we want to connect Kafka with Pulsar. You can use Kafka connectors. These are source connector. It can be source or sync, too. So think of a data pipeline. Source messages coming in, and then you have Pulsar managing, all of the functions and all of these things, and then basically you can output your, outcome, right, of the processing transformation to a sync, for example. So you can have sync connector. There are also pre-configured connectors. There are over 80 or almost 100 different types of connectors. But if you don't find what you need, you can also use the SDK to write your own connectors too. So that's what is over here. Yeah. And over here too is that you, as developers, we also write code if you are consuming these messages. So over here. Likewise, a whole variety of different languages are supported here. And then of course too, it works with a lot of enterprise integration with, for example, Cassandra. DataStax, the company I work for, is actually the flagship Cassandra company, if you maybe are aware of it. So we have the managed cloud for it, and it works also with Elasticsearch. It's also a very kind of a popular kind of a source or sync connector too that we can work with Elasticsearch. So this is just like a quick introductory.
This sounds interesting, Mary, like the functions. We can discover that, right, later on. Should we do that?
Yeah, you want to do it now? Yeah, or
no,
or
we
after
can do it later on.
Later, okay.
We'll do it, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
So the architecture of Kafka. So this is a big schema. I just made it some weeks ago. So it looks like it's very difficult, but yeah, it's just like you have some producers here. They are talking to, like with topics here. So with your cluster. And you have the same with the consumers. But you need to have something like that is checking, like, hey, does it still live? Is there something happened? Does my broker live? And that kind of things. So, yeah, you can think about that like on a topic. So you create a topic, and that's on a broker. So that's handling the messages for you. And yeah, if you go in depth, like then you have the difficult part of Kafka is like you have petitions. Like you have different petitions. This is one topic. And it's sending a message to this one, it can send to this one, or it can send to the one. So you have 3 petitions. And Pulsar is doing that better, like they are some quicker with it, because it was a separate process, Bookie it was called, right?
Bookie.
So that was the difference here. So yeah, Pulsar is some quicker there. But yeah, on developer view, it's maybe another story, but that's for later. And you have a schema registry, for example, if you want to create kind of AVRO, it's called. It's like an XML message you send to a consumer or to a producer. You produce it to a topic and you consume it. And you need an object. So you need to serialize and deserialize, like you have a byte and you need to transform it to Java. And there's something into it, and it's a schema registry where you can handle all those kind of things. So these are the partitions. And yeah, you can do a lot with Kafka. You have the Streams API, like you can handle the message. Who is using the Java Streams API here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who is using below Java 8? Okay, I expect some more response maybe, because yeah, the Streams API is from 8, right?
From 8.
Yeah,
right.
so yeah, it's very powerful because you can like stream in it. You can be very functional, and like you know already what it is. Like it's not so complex anymore. Like hey, this is doing like it's filtering, it's mapping, and then it's sending to a topic. So yeah, so that's about the streams. You have also something like Kafka Connect. You can connect a database with Mongo database or something. Yeah, we have already talked about the cluster here in depth. You have something about KSQL, so you can query your state store, like, hey, select star from this. So that's also pretty powerful. I got this from another website. Yeah, you have also consumers and yeah, the default. So very quickly, sorry about that, but yeah. But why should you consider both architectures? Mary?
Yeah, that's right. So we just wanted to point out, right, why should you consider both? I think, again, I point out, right, Pulsar is more ready as a cloud-native type of platform for you. And also with its Pulsar functions, and that's also very efficient too. You don't need to write a lot of code, basically. Like, for example, small things, you basically implement your Pulsar functions, and then you write your code, pretty much is there. Then you can deploy it, you know, assuming you're using our cloud version, not on-prem. I guess even on-prem, you also do the same kind of deployment too. But otherwise too, Pulsar functions is nice, then it takes care of, you know, in your cloud infrastructure, all of these infrastructure things, Pulsar would take care of it.
So we can go serverless, or?
That's right, it's like a serverless,
cool.
essentially serverless. That's right, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah,
but yeah, if we're going advanced, I don't want to lose my Streams API because it's very powerful, because if I'm programming, I just want to program like functional, like I want to create a stream and then filter on it, and I want to do something on a message, like very, very easy with Spring Boot. And we are going to make it, or create it, and I show you in a bit again.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so this one too is giving you some idea of more of a comparison between Kafka and Pulsar. So over here on the left side, we're looking at Kafka. It's basically, it's a more partition-centric type of system, right? We're talking about your topics, you're partitioning it off.
I'm standing good here. Like,
that's right. You are Kafka. Yeah. Okay. So basically, all the logs, you know, segments are replicated, right, in order across brokers too, in this case. But whereas, like, if you look into Pulsar side, right, I brought up the bookkeeper. So if you look into it, it's basically, you know, all of these partitions under it, it's already segments off in a logical kind of manner. And then if you look into segment distribution, it's basically managed by the bookkeeper too. So bookie is like the unit of operation in bookkeeper. So over here, as you can see, they're partitioned off, and then they get segment off according to the different colors, how they kind of all scattered. So all of these is automatically handle it, the managing, how do you map between logical and the segment distribution too. So it's basically, this is what this one about, right? The two differences between the two. Okay, so also kind of wanted to point out some architectural advantage of Pulsar too. Like if you look into there, right, we're making use of stateless brokers. Scalability too is very independent because we separate them off, so we need to scale them. Bookkeeper will also scale itself, and the broker side will also do all the scaling itself. So independently doing it is a lot easier too, especially when you're dealing with tons of messages, right? That most of the time in an enterprise, system world, that's what it is. So, and over here, so I think this is just again repeating too, just another kind of description of the advantage of Pulsar in this case. Again, it's a bit newer concept too. Yeah, like that architecture with the French architecture thing is like this. Pulsar is just newer, in that sense. So, thank you.
But is it mature?
Yeah, but it is catching up.
So I would say we are going to deep dive into the code. Yeah, I'm a developer also. Who of you are developers here, by the way? Nice. Who are architects here?
Architects, yeah.
Okay, we still have. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Then we can do some coding.
Yeah.
And we also do some architectural things like, show me data stacks, I would say. It's there on the tab, so
That's
right.
Here,
so like here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can. Can I click it? Oh, wait, maybe I can click it.
You click. Can you click that? Yeah.
Yeah,
there we go.
Oh, sign in.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe you can click on sign in with GitHub.
Yeah.
And then
Do you want me to log in myself and
no,
then
sign in with GitHub. Well, just the top. The top.
Oh, GitHub. You want to do yours? Okay, that will work.
Another time, I think you need to do it twice.
That's right. So if you go to astra.datastacks.com, I just want to quickly point out for DataStacks 2, we are giving you chance to try out our Astra managed cloud platform, and you get $25 US dollar per month too for trying things out. So if you're doing small projects, it's pretty sufficient, your personal projects. So, and then you only need to give your email address. So you don't need to give credit card.
This is a little bit advertising, but I'm a developer, so I'm independent here. But it's really nice of this is that you can combine Pulsar and Kafka together. So you can combine both of them. So I can just develop with my Kafka Streams API, and I can just write to a topic where Pulsar is also reading from it. And you can use the Pulsar functions or something. So that's why we are, we're saying
combining.
more about it. Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Show me
so really quickly,
streaming,
right?
I would say, right?
Yeah, that's right. We go to stream. So as you can see, you log on to here. You get an account, and you can try it out anytime you like. So there, as you can see too, on the left side, there's streaming. So over here, we already have created some stream. And it's not as difficult as it sounds. Actually, let me quickly show. If you want to try out a stream, create a tenant, you can actually go to the streaming, and then there's also a create tenant in here. So all you need to give is basically the name of your tenant, and then pick a cloud provider. Again, it supports all three, the Google Cloud or
it's pretty
Azure.
cool.
Yeah.
So you can choose
choose the one or Amazon.
Yeah, cool.
And also Microsoft Azure. So all these are supported. And let's say we do this like here, you pick a region, and then once you're ready, you can click, and then it will create that stream, the tenant stream for you. So
the region can be important because of GDPR. You don't want to have your messages somewhere out of Europe.
That's right. Yeah, things like that. So so really quickly to show you here, Ko has already created a stream on his account. Here is called World. So if you click on here, and you want to start to play around with it, you click on it, and as you can see on the top, the tab here, there's Quick Start. And it gives you the information. How do you create a topic? How do you produce data? How do you consume data? All of these things are guiding you to do that too.
So you can just try it. It's just free, and you can just try it. How is it work to fill with Pulsar, for example, just to have a POC or something. It's pretty nice. Yeah.
That's right, exactly. And then over here, right, and also it guides you in terms of having code example. I won't go into all the details, but if you, here is a Java conference, so we want to click on Java.
Give me JavaScript, please, now.
Yeah, that's right. But as you can see, it supports Python, Golang. All of these are, we have some examples in here for you too. So for example, if we're Java conference, let's kind of take a look. You have Maven. How do you connect all of these dependent section is also listing out too. So it's pretty nice. You can copy into your code and start using it. Producer, consumer, and which code will actually show up from his.
No, I'm just
Okay,
kidding.
I won't say it.
No.
It is closing your secret, but no, just kidding. But I won't get into all the details in here. But let's say you're a Python developer or Golang, you can click on those and take a look. And then how do you may wonder, right? You're creating a stream, you need to define namespace, create a topic, all of these. You can also go into here and do a create namespace right there too. But over here, we already have some namespace created that we'll be using called Kafka and Pulsar too, for example, over here.
Or
right?
you can use the same, like you use the same topic even, so yeah.
That's right, yeah. So, okay, and then there's sources. So over here, there are other tabs are like sources, functions, and sinks. So that talks about like building data pipeline, source connector. How do you create a source, and how do you deploy them? And yeah, the sources is right there if you create it. Right? Again, won't get into all the details, and it asks you a bunch of questions and guide you. Then you can create a source like that. And also, likewise, you could do the same thing for a sink. And then if you want to play around with the functions, you can, another thing I want to point out, there's also Pulsar, a command line client, like the CLI too. So if you're you want to automate your code, you don't want to use the GUI, you can use command line CLI to do it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So I can just do it from a command line on my Mac. Oh, cool.
Yeah, so for automation, it's nice too in that case. So yeah, so just wanted to quickly point out there's sinks, you can create sync
Can I run that side, or can I run there?
Yeah.
Like I have here some paper, yeah? Can I pass it? Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, but that's kind of a real quick overview, but I'll let Ko take over for more of the demo that he created. So, okay.
So, I created a demo. I'm using IntelliJ. Who's using IntelliJ here? Eclipse? No, okay. Oh, no one. Okay, nice. So, sorry, out of scope. So we have, for example, basic. So we have shall we begin with Pulsar, basic? Yeah,
sure.
Because we're already busy with Pulsar. Sure. So we created a process. So this is just the basic one, like producing a message. So we have a payment application here, a Spring Boot application, just a simple one. We have a controller, REST controller, and we have some services with a consumer and a producer. So we have a producer here, like, you have some, don't look out right. And it's just like creating a producer. Like, I have a Pulsar client, so you have some configuration here. So the only thing you need to do is Pulsar client. So you have here some client here, a builder, service URI, you need some authentication with a token, and then you're already set. And you can create your producer and a consumer. And it's relatively easy if you know it. And this is on GitHub, so you can check it also later. And you also have it with a consume. Like you can create a consumer. Like I have a topic with payments, subscription name, and subscribe it. And you can also consume from the topic. So that's a little bit the basic one.
Sure.
That's also something like functions, Pulsar function. And maybe, this is a real lame application. It's only like doing a log.info.
That's right.
So, but it's just like showing you like what she shows here. Like you have a function here, and I created a function here, send payment it calls, and it's just a serverless. It's running serverlessly on Google. So it's now here like payment sent to system B. If I call my endpoint, so you can already see here. If you need to have some translation, it's already serverless, so you can make it like really small, and that's pretty cool of it. And you already see it here, and you don't need to think about where do I run it. It's just like on the cloud.
That's right, exactly. That's the nice thing about serverless.
So you want to say something more about functions, or more?
No, I think it's good, but I was going to show you because you quickly show, right? You implement that function. Yeah. That's all you would need, and then you plug in your logic in there. Pretty much when it's ready, you can then upload. Yeah.
So the only thing you need to know is this implements function.
Some functions. Yeah.
And of course you have your POM.
Yeah. The POM
like you have some Pulsar functions API. Yeah. And that's the only thing you need. So it's pretty easy. Lightweight if you kind of think of it, and you let the infrastructure, Pulsar infrastructure takes care of
all the running side of things for you. So that's
so
a nice
you,
thing.
yeah, you don't need Spring Boot or something. You can just use your own implementation, or if you want to use, it's also possible, I guess.
That's right,
Yeah,
exactly.
So,
yeah.
So, yeah, are we going to? I will show Kafka maybe later on. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
We can just continue with this one. So you was about functions. We were talking about functions.
Just really quick, kind of illustrate. This small illustration too. When we're using, like this platform, what do we actually use it mostly for? Is basically building your data pipelines. These pipelines can actually be used also for AI kind of application, ML ops too. So that's the idea. But of course, you can use it for other applications like fraud detection. You need a constant, way of monitoring the data that comes in. You want to build data pipelines. So just want to illustrate, right? We're always dealing with data when it deals with when we're working with event kind of system. Think of the data as like water flowing through pipeline, and then this just illustrating a pulsar is there to transform the data for you. When you're ready with it, then the transformed data will then be sent to a sink. So that's the water kind of transform going to a sink. But that is just an illustration showing to you.
Tap the water then. Yeah.
That's right, yeah, okay.
Tap the data.
That's right. So here is just, again, just more conceptually describing pulsar functions again, kind of summarizing, allows kind of complex streaming type of processing, but it's very lightweight. It's a function as a service, serverless type of usages. And again, right now it's actually supporting only Java, Python, and Go, because it's, again, open source project. It takes a while. There are folks working on other languages. I actually forgot to mention, too, for Pulsar, if you're a .NET person, you can also write C# code that will be supported, too, but not functions yet, not just yet. It will be there. So here is just another example, or kind of a graphical, thing describing functions, how it works. You have topics sending out all your input messages to the function. It transforms it for you. It output the messages to another topic, or what is called like log output to another log topic too. Then that's the idea. So, yeah. And here too, just describing. This is what Pulsar supports, and also DataSex, our streaming platform, also support all of these databases that you can connect using, our Pulsar connector too. So you can see it's a wide variety of different, databases, messaging platforms like Kafka is right there. We also support, and yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Languages client, the monitoring. There are other Splunk, for example, or SaaS platform like Twitter, SAP, all these things too. So yeah,
nice, so, interesting. Yeah.
It's very flexible. So think of it as really a flexible system. Yeah, and then now let's
about streams.
Yeah, streams from Kafka side.
So we're going to talk also about streams. We also have a project here, the QR code you will receive later about the code. You can also try it yourself. But again, we have also within Kafka, you have also some basic stuff, like you can produce a message and you can consume a message. And that's more or less the same in Pulsar. Like, we're producing a message and consuming. From a developer's point of view, like it's the same almost. Like, we are producing a message, but it gets fun if you're going advanced. More about that in a minute. So, for example, we have a producer here. It's the same application. We have also like some objects here, Avro, payment. And the only thing you need to know is like use Spring Kafka. There's a dependency in it. And use Kafka template. And you just run Kafka template below. So that's the only thing you need to know. You can create some counters, of course. Very important also in Pulsar. Create metrics, for example, with Actuator or with another tool.
That's right.
Another tool? No? No?
Yeah.
And Kafka template send. That's only you sending a message. So it's
that's
like
right.
easy. The configuration is something different.
That's right.
I can show you later on afterwards. So everything is possible. But again, this is just the basic stuff, but we want to go advanced. So again, we have a project here, and it's the same project, only we use the Streams API. So you have, again, also you need to enable it with Enable Kafka Streams, and you need to create a stream here, or you create two streams. I'm working, for example, on a big bank, and we were working with payments, and we're working also with fraud. So those are mostly two separate things. Like, someone else is doing the payment, someone else is doing the fraud check. It's like different departments. And this is how it can be. So yeah, you just create a stream, and it's look a little bit like this. So you have a stream of payments and a table of balances, a kind of settings. And yeah, you can do certain things about it. Payment stream.peak is like, hey, I want to do something, log something, create a metric. And then the next one is I want to join. I want to check if he is enough balance. So you can join it. It's maybe a little bit too advanced, but you can also do a filter, like, hey, maybe I want to filter on amount. Maybe I want to the filter on the IBAN number. Or maybe I want to map it later on to check the frauds. And then I'm sending it there to the fraud. So, and then you created your stream. So it's really like, it's a kind of functional. And a lot of people are really loving that. And I'm as a developer, I'm swearing with this. And yeah, functions is also interesting. So the advanced stuff is really interesting of both, I think.
That's right, yeah.
So yeah, let's, that's it. So some resources.
Yeah, that's right. There's some resources. So if you're interested, there, we just kind of touch upon some introductory information. So if you're interested, right, there's the Pulsar, Bookkeeper, and Zookeeper Apache projects, the links to that. And also, too, with my company, DataStax, we have the Astra, is a managed cloud platform. So you're interested in the cloud, not managing yourself, you can basically use our managed platform, Astra DB, and also because of Cassandra, that's the database, Astra DB. And just now I show you about our Astra platform is astra.datastax.com, where you can sign up to get a $25 credit.
No credit card required,
no
by
credit
the way,
card,
so you can just play. So it's
play.
very important.
Yeah, exactly. And every month it gets renewed too, so that's the nice thing. Which means you get $300 per year as you try in for your own projects, which is nice.
You can try Pulsar, or you can
yeah.
try Kafka. It's both possible. It's very nice if you want to check the Streams API, or you want to check functions, for example, or the basic stuff. That's also possible.
That's right. It's
nice, Mary.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, one thing, just if we can go back here too. There's also I put in here Luna streaming. So basically, if you want to manage your own cloud, you can basically and get. From DataStax, we also have Luna streaming. It's also Pulsar underneath the hood, but allows you can deploy to your own cloud, like using Helm charts, right? Directly working with Kubernetes. You can do that too. But we also help you with support too, if you want, or you can ask questions. We will be there to answer questions for free as well. But otherwise, Astra streaming, yeah, you can try it out. And then if you're interested, if you're a startup company, you want more help, we can also help you too. So let us know. So I know I may be advertising, but I think those are good things, not trying to sell, but just helping you to
I want to say something about that. Like, yeah, it's like I'm a developer. I want to try Pulsar and I want to try Kafka, right? So that is my I want to use the technology. So yeah, this sounds good because mostly you need one company for Kafka and the other one is doing Pulsar. No. Yeah. I want to do them both. And this is a nice way to try.
Yeah, DataStax, we work with Kafka. Yeah. That's right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Resources, yeah, there are a lot of resources found. It's just like this is the default website, the open source website. Just go to kafka.apache.org. You can find everything about it to set up your own server even. Zookeeper we are using, of course, and on YouTube you find a video about Kafka that's exploring more, telling you more about streams, and it's a little bit self-advertising.
That's right. Yep.
So, wrapping up, Pulsar.
Yeah, Pulsar. So just want to summarize, right? Pulsar is a true cloud-native messaging platform, event streaming platform that has multi-tenancy support. I was showing you how you can easily, if you use our DataStax, to create your tenants, and also geo-replication. Those are highlighting these, right? There are many benefits too, besides those. And also, again, Pulsar components are horizontally scalable too, and then the code tier offload messaging kind of way too helps you with that. And also it's open source, has a vibrant community and no vendor lock-in. So I think I would wrap up with this message. Oh. And how about Kafka?
No vendor lock-in. Nice.
That's right.
Yeah. So with a larger community, Kafka. So if you want to develop something, there's always to find some communication because the first time you're like, oh, what do I need to do? And there's a lot of information about it. Different websites, developer websites you can search on. And there are a lot of examples. You have a lot of flavors, like you can use Kafka Connect, you can use Kafka Streams, KSQL, and that kind of things. But yeah, if you can mix both of them, that would be nice. And how can we mix them? With
functions. You can use Pulsar functions with it. And I didn't mention in here is actually, this is our first presentation, but basically saying if you want, there's already built-in Kafka sync connector and Kafka source connector that you can use. There's also in DataStax we have what is called Starlight API. You can actually use the API and connect to your existing Kafka installation too. So that's another thing too, which we didn't bring up, but it is available, just so you know. So
I really love the functions. It's good for the world, I think, also like to be eco-friendly and go serverless, right? So,
exactly.
So, and of course, I really love the Kafka Streams API. Streams needed a typo, but it's really nice. It's really quick, and as a developer, you want to have some framework, and the Streams API is really well developed, and it's quick. And if you're using big data, like on a bank, 100 millions of data. You want to process it fast, and you can do it with Streams ASL, and it's like, wow, it's really like feel like nature. So
with that,
But that said, I hope we kind of joined worlds like functions and the Streams API. So.
Yeah, that's right. And we're available too if you would like more information. We'll be happy to answer questions. And this is how you can get a hold of us. Twitter, for me, I have Twitter handle, and so is Ko. And
this
LinkedIn.
Is you.
This is you. And then, I actually wanted to mention I have a Twitch stream too. And it's usually if I'm not traveling on Wednesday, I would do a stream too. And that's when I actually show samples. And I plan to have Ko on my stream so we can show more things.
Wow.
So nice, please follow me, and then you'll get notifications. I also have a Discord channel too. So if you want to send me messages, I'm really welcoming everybody to stay connected. I think it's exciting, so many new things to be discovered. We want to learn about what you're doing as well. So
one more thing, the slides you can find there, and on this side you can find the code. So if you want to try it yourself, like we are developers, we want to try things out, right? And that's there. So make a picture of. If you have questions, you can just ask if there are any time, or follow us on Twitter. That would be very nice.
That's right. I also have some Pulsar stickers too. I'm going to get it. So okay.
So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And see you next time.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I'm gonna get my stickers. Forgot.